Hello to my Aquarian friends. This is Molly with Soul School Tarot and Astrology, and I'm here with you guys today for your September 2020 General Tarot and Oracle card reading. So while I get a good shuffle on here, I'm gonna just kind of make a couple announcements. First and foremost, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you for joining my channel, for liking, sharing, and subscribing. And if you're new to the channel, my name is Molly. Just kind of hang out, so, you know, good time. I'm gonna get a good, oh, I got a new tripod. I don't think I'm working it right. Okay, so let's get into this. If you guys are interested in any of the following things, you should check out the description box below. Finding out more about your astrology chart, there is a link where you can actually enter your birth information and come up with a chart to explore that a little bit more. That way you can look at your sun, moon, and rising signs, which is really pretty important to do. Sometimes I actually feel like I resonate more strongly with my moon sign, especially when it comes to what's going on the inside with me. And then when it comes to like my life path and like kind of how I'm trying to put myself out there in the world, definitely resonate with my rising sign. So if you want to find out more, description box below. If you guys want an astrological reading or a personal tarot reading, individual lessons, you can book me at my website, which is soulschooltarotandastrology.com. There's also a link to that down there in the description box. And then finally, we're going to have an extended to this video right here. So if you're feeling like you're vibing with this reading and you want to follow me over to extended, you can rent or buy the rest of your reading. And of course, once we make it over to Vimeo, that is a much smaller collective, and so the messages get like really specific. If you're guided there, then just trust that there is probably a message there for you. Okay. All right, Aquarius, I felt like I should start with this Healing the Mind and Spirit cards. I usually finish readings with these because they give really good advice, right? But for some reason with you guys, I had to go ahead and start there. So here are the messages that I got. I kind of want to go back and look at the love reading that I put out for you guys in August 2020, because I just got through those, and there were a lot of those. I think Aquarius was one of them. A lot of them that really kind of talked about maybe like a broken relationship, broken trust, but communication definitely being needed. All right. So we're going into this September energy. Probably, Aquarius, if this is your reading, you're probably feeling a little uneasy with the way that things went in the past. Like just not happy with the way things were in the past. Uranus is retrograde right now, and that happens for about 4 or 5 months out of the year. So it is retrograde. And sometimes that can have us really, especially Aquarians, really looking over the past. So here's what this says. Forgiving doesn't mean forgetting. It means understanding. And this is something, I've been going through a lot lately, actually, because it's like, let's say somebody did you wrong, okay? You have several options. Cut them off forever, never deal with it again, stuff it down, screw that person, right? Write bad things about them on a bathroom wall. All right, there's one way to deal with it. Another way to deal with it is to keep giving them chances over and over and over again to get things right. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but you maybe get walked all over in the process, okay? So an alternate way of dealing with that when somebody has done you wrong is find compassion for that person. Try to understand the cause of why they did that to you, and then don't let them do it again. That's ultimately what forgiveness is not about the other person. It's not about excusing the other person's behavior. It's just having compassion and saying, you know what? I'm a human being. That could have been me. All right. But understanding, and you guys, that's what the bigger picture of karma and why we live all these different lives again and again and again. And we go through, even within one life, all these different cycles again and again and again. It's to understand the causes and consequences of our actions, largely the emotional causes and consequences of our action. So if somebody did you wrong, try to have some compassion for like, I'm sorry that person's so broken that they have to treat me that way. Or I'm sorry that person's so, I don't like the word broken. I'm sorry that person is so unwilling to heal that they would treat me that way. So this says, I can forgive others even if they have hurt me. All right. So as I flip this and I see that there's two people here, for some of you guys, you're the yellow person who's like, sorry. And for some of you, the purple person who's like, no, screw you. You hurt me. All right. So being asked to forgive is very important. But then also, like I said before, you can forgive somebody and still not give them an opportunity to do that to you again. Do you understand? So this says it's better to say no when you need to. And to say yes when you want to. Otherwise, anger will creep in and you'll resent the person or the obligation. All right. So forgiving somebody does not make you obligated to put up with that bullshit again. Facts. All right. I feel no guilt when I say no to someone. All right. Trust yourself, Aries. Why do you say Aries? Are you dealing with Aries? Trust yourself, Aquarius. If you feel like somebody has crossed a boundary, y'all, no is a complete sentence. Say with me, no is a complete sentence. Oh, and I've got ads. No is a complete sentence, you guys. If somebody has crossed a boundary, and that's the thing. Some people be like, well, what did I do to deserve that? And then they're going to take your answer and argue with it. It really sucks that they even have ads during meditation music. If ads are popping up in the middle of my video, let me know. There might be something I can do to make those happen at the beginning or the end. I don't like to be interrupted. Nobody does. All right. So also funny, like, I don't know if you're in middle school or high school in the 1990s, you understand the talk to the hand. Talk to the hand. Some people need to just talk to the hand. They can keep talking, right? They can keep talking. Oh, blah, 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 blah. But no, if somebody crossed a boundary, guess who gets to define your boundaries? You do. But guess whose job it is to defend them? It's yours, all right? So can you forgive somebody, i.e., come to peace and acceptance with the way that they treated you. Try to have some compassion for why they might have done that, and then just let it go. That doesn't mean you have to let them back in to do it again. So we're going to dig into this. Actually, so many decks. We're going to do the inversion tarot. I've got an Ace of Swords here. For some of you, this is just your no. Remember, no is a complete sentence. No. There you go. End of sentence. Period. Punctuation mark. You don't put a question mark there because people will start questioning you. Seeing the truth of things. And also, to me, the sun represents acceptance. I've never really associated the sun card with forgiveness. I have a different vibe. Some people are like, oh my God, the sun card, it's the best card in the deck. No, it's not. The star is. Sorry. But the star is Aquarius. So maybe you guys agree. Okay. But the sun is about seeing things as they are and accepting them as they are, which can be difficult to do. The Five of Cups shows me that this is a difficult decision to make, that it's sad. I remember one time, I miss having good guy friends. Like, I'm 40, and so most, like, all the really good guy friends I had, I was a tomboy growing up. But even throughout high school and throughout my 20s, all my best friends were guys. And then they go and they get into relationships with people who aren't comfortable with their husbands having female friends. So in the process, though, of like having these male friends that are going through the dating cycle and talking to them, it actually gave me a lot of insight into how men process emotion and relationships. And I remember there was this thing, it was like, talking to this male friend of mine, and like a relationship had in between him and a woman, and he's like, it's just sad. And that's all it can be. And you know what I mean? It was just like, sometimes that's all it can be. Sometimes it's just sad, and that's all it can be. Okay? Sometimes things are unfair, and that's all that it can be. The Justice card also represents a lack of balance. Okay. And the reason I mention that is because it came out next to the Temperance card, which both of these cards represent balance. To me, it is mental and emotional balance. It is justice versus healing, right? These are two desired outcomes. When somebody's done you wrong, actually we got three. You want justice, you want healing, and you want to move on. You want to move on, all right? I feel like this is saying, look, baby doll, you can have healing and you can have moving on. But as of right now, justice is not on the table. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. But I will say this. Not justice in the 3D sense of things, all right? Up here in your sense of peace, you can call justice anytime. I'm going to change this, you guys. This is the second ad in the last 10 minutes. It's meditation music. That's ridiculous. Okay, sorry, that was so distracting, all right? Distractions might literally be a thing that is coming up with you guys, all right? So, when I say that justice may not be playing out right in front of you right now, as above, my friends, so below, all right? As above, so below. So if justice is not playing out in the so below, call for justice above. Call on your ancestors, spirit guides, angels, deities, whoever you work with spiritually. Speak to them about justice. And then understand that it's not always your job to make things fair, to right that wrong, to set that balance, especially if somebody has done you wrong. Trying to get them back is just going to create more karma for you. So sometimes it's hard, but you just have to wait and try to focus on your healing, try to focus on your moving forward, allow for the passage of time. Because I got to tell you what, there's some situations where somebody getting justice, it's almost as like the universe needs to set them up to have the proper perspective when that justice moment comes so they get it. You know what I mean? So they understand why they've done something wrong. You're being asked to consider the causes of somebody else's crappy behaviors and let the universe point out to them the consequences of it. Okay? One natural consequence of crappy behavior is that you just want to distance yourself from this person. I'm going to be real with y'all. It just gets me when people are like, oh my gosh, why are we not friends? Because honestly, like, have we ever been? Or people who are like, why don't you this anymore? Why don't you that? And why do we hang out? Because you showed me who you are, right? So when people begin to feel and experience the consequences of their crappy behavior, that's when they begin this process of self-examination. And some people, it's just not before. They don't do that, okay? Is there anything else? Because I feel like I'm rushing through this. Sometimes I feel like I don't always get out all of the messages. Does that make sense? This is you as the King of Swords. You know your truth and you're standing in your truth, okay? You know your truth and you're standing in your truth. And actually, sometimes that's what can be very difficult about forgiving somebody. Is like, well, am I even seeing this from... Okay, listen. Let's say you and somebody have a fight and you both have different views of the way that it went down, right? You don't have to get them to agree with your version of the story in order for you to know that your version of the story is right, that that's your truth. It's not about right or wrong. It's just like, what is your truth? Wow, that's a lot of energy on the table, you guys. Let's go ahead. Inversion Tarot, tell me some more about this energy that's coming up for the month of September for our Aquarius. I'd like to know more about this injustice. And we get Judgment card. So there was something in the past. This Five of Cups, oh gosh. This could be a relationship, it could be friendship, it could be a work situation, but for some of y'all, this is a partnership that did not work out. It had the potential for 10 whole cups. Cups is emotional fulfillment, like happiness, right? And so you got one person over here who's just left with their 5 cups, and that's sadness. It's really sad. We could have had this, we could have had the sun. We could have had this sun going on, but no. We got 5 cups. We could have had 10 cups, but we got 5 cups. All right. So this Judgment card wants to call that back up for review. Why did this not work out? Why did the bottom fall out of this? This was like, man, y'all, I'm feeling that feeling. It's like they got that clairsentience kicking in, all right? And the feeling that I'm getting is like I want to cry, love it. Stop it. Stop it. My personal stuff goes on off screen, off camera, okay? Now listen, this is that feeling of like, you know what? I want to forgive and forget, but my hands are tied. My hands are just tied. It's really, really sad that this is the way that it went down, but it's also unfair. It's also unfair. And it's a justice that it's not within your power to right this wrong. So you're going to focus on healing and moving forward, all right? But either internally or within externally in the context of the relationship, things are getting called back up. If it's within you internally, if it's just like, you know, this bridge is burnt, you're not trying to go over that bridge, the river is polluted, you're not doing that. For some of you guys, it just means that these feelings are coming back up. And what it's asking you to do is all those things from the past, right? Those past dreams and visions and promises. Is that even really what you want now? Or is your new vision of 10 of Cups actually a lot cooler? And part of my itchy nose, you guys, I took my allergy meds. It is part of like, it happens when spirit is coming right through me. It's like they come out of my nose. That's a weird thought. So calling back up, either why did the bottom fall out? Because these are two people who really had a potential for a 10 of Cups, but somebody did somebody wrong. Let's call that back up for review. Or these feelings are popping back up in you and you're like, man, that was my chance at happiness. And this archangel's like, was it though? Call back up, go ahead and pull that back out. What was your plan for happiness back then? Do you look over those plans now and be like, you know, we really need to update these? Okay? I'm nosy and I want to know which it is. This is, oh my God, you guys. There you go. For some of you, this also represents a choice. But you guys, look at this image where you have an angel blowing the trumpet and there's 3 people. They're popping up out of their graves because something that was once dead is actually being called to life. And they're like, okay, guess what? You get to go to heaven now. Do you see how this angel, it's not a trumpet, but you know what I mean? You see how you have this these 3 people down here? Right? It's like, get dressed. We're going to a wedding. Wake up, get dressed, get dressed. Okay, that's good perspective. All right. That's good perspective. I did see the Emperor earlier, like in the deck. Come on, autofocus. What's your problem? I did see the Emperor earlier in the deck, but look who we've got out right now, okay? If you are the masculine in this connection, don't be offended by this because there's actually, is it Taurus? When it says that, there's a video I did called The Empress Will Not Be Treated This Way Again, and talked about an empress who was paired with an emperor energy and he was too controlling. And so now she's actually kind of considering a king. Okay. So the king, this just could be somebody who's launching into action. This could be somebody who's fully in their emperor vibe, but they're acting from the king place right now. Okay. But this is the Empress and the King of Wands. And it came like that. And then here we have the Horseman of Cups with the Four of Cups reverse. Somebody wanting, oh shit, that's dumb. Okay, the Four of Cups is somebody sitting under a tree and they're like daydreaming. They're just kind of looking off and there's these 3 cups in front of them, right? Those are their cups and they're not that interested. And so here comes this hand out of the cloud. It's like, hey man, you want this cup? And he's like, no. You know, this guy is like, oh, wait, can I have that? Can I have that cup? Remember that cup? You remember you had that cup and I didn't want the cup. Now I want the cup. I love the little heart tattoo on the horse. I'm imagining it's a tattoo or a brand. You know, that's probably how you mark horses. But he's bringing a cup and he's bringing some wine. But he also has a book. So he's learned something. I'm taking this to be a masculine energy that is approaching this Empress energy to talk about perhaps a missed opportunity that they were not into before. They didn't used to want that, and now all of a sudden they want that. Y'all could have had the 10 of Cups. There's the Judgment card. Okay, that is a ametrine. Is it ametrine? So there's a crystals recommendation for you guys. I'm going to get just like a couple of cards from the Tarot Gemstones of Crystal. I'll get you an oracle card, and then we will move over to Vimeo to dig further into this with the extended. So I am curious about this Horseman of Cups, because to me that is movement towards that somebody who's beginning to let their emotions out. Okay? That flipped right over. Okay. Beautiful. Do you remember I said some people are all like, oh, the sun is the best card. It's the happiest card in the whole deck. And this, to me, the sun is this object outside of you that can help to heal you. The star is your inner light where you can heal yourself. That's this Knight of Wands. I'm sorry, this Knight of Cups, this Horseman of Cups, somebody who's wanting to come in and maybe have a conversation about love or emotions or feelings, all right, has put down a bunch of shit that doesn't really matter. I feel like somebody in this process has gone through some sort of transformation. I feel like the person who did you wrong at least is hoping that you guys can put that down and maybe renew, like self-heal. Not just yourselves, but self-heal. That's the thing. Sometimes you break apart. Each person has to do their own healing, because hurt people hurt people. So when you got two hurt people together hurting each other, boop, 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 they could love each other to the edges of the universe and back. But until they learn to heal themselves, they're not going to be able to, they're just going to keep on hurting each other. So sometimes two people have to go away, heal themselves a little, then they can come back together and maybe heal the connection. But somebody is really carrying a lot of burdens about this. Rubellite. I don't know much about Rubellite. That's the 10 of Wands. And then Moldavite is the star. Somebody's carrying a lot of burdens, but they want to put them down. We have 2 Judgment cards on the deck, or on the table. That is significant. And since we have the star, let's do the Starseed Oracle deck for you guys. If you are interested in the whole Starseed thing, Starseed philosophy, finding out a little bit more about that, if I would love for you guys to join me over on Patreon beginning tomorrow for the Starseed Collective. That is September 1st. There's sort of an introductory video on that here. If you guys are not into it, like, don't worry about it. I'm not pushing it on anybody. It's like, I did not come onto Earth in this lifetime to start a cult. No. Been there, done that, I'm pretty sure. All right, let's go ahead. See what the Starseed Oracle has to say about this Empress. And by the way, you guys, here's what I have to say. This Empress's crown is full of stars. Okay? A bunch of these. She's got the self-healing. If you are the person who has done wrong, you've done the self-healing. And if you are the person who did the doing wrong, please understand that this person, I think that this person doesn't need you to make it right. Therefore, you should try to make it very appealing to them, to give you the option to make it right. Okay? Just because they don't need to doesn't mean they don't want to. Inner Earth, you'll survive this. New solutions and beginnings. For me, this is a little bit about what I was saying earlier. Hurt people, hurting people, and then you go into your own cave and you do your own healing process, and then you can come back together and with new solutions for old problems. All right? All right? But it's okay for you to say no to that. If you're not feeling it, if you want to forgive somebody and then not give them the opportunity to hurt you again, you can do that. But I also am getting urged to talk to you guys about the fact that it's very important. There's actually a deck in the Healing the Mind and Spirit cards, or there's a card in that deck that talks about trying to view people as they are now and not as they were in the past. Yes, seeing potential and bringing unconsciousness to light is the Seas of Mintaka. I love that. It's beautiful blue water. And then baby steps, action. Follow your intuition before it makes sense. So intuition, it makes me feel like this, and action also, really makes me feel like this is talking about that King of Wands. This King of Wands maybe doesn't really know how he's going to make it right, but he knows he's got to try. There are things within that are being brought to light. We have this, when we have this card, Seas of Mintaka, along with the Ace of Swords and the Sun on the table and the Judgment card everywhere, you guys. There's some sort of truth coming out. Some sort of something that, it's like a conversation you thought was over a long time ago, but there's still something more to be said, okay? I also feel like there's a very strong potential for healing in this situation, but I'm going to remind you, you don't have to feel guilty if the answer is no. No is a complete sentence, all right? So if you guys want to follow me over a little bit to Vimeo, I want to take a peek at what is the potential in this situation going forward. Otherwise, I will see you back here on this channel again very soon. Take care.